think I'm live. So welcome to Yin Yoga. We are going to do a practice for de-stressing the shoulders and the low back. You will need a couple of blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can grab some cushions off your sofa or a couple of books for the supported bridge. Yin Yoga is a type of yoga where you are working your joints, where you're bringing fluid and hydration to the joints. We do that by getting into a pose, finding the edge of the pose, the first place where you get some sensation, and then holding that pose for about 3 minutes. You don't want to have any pain, so anytime you're feeling something sharp, something needling, heat, tingling, you want to come out of the pose or lessen the degree of the pose. So I'm not going to have any music because of rights issues. If you want to turn on a soft playlist to have in the background, you're welcome to do that. Gather your props. We're going to be sitting for the first 2 poses, so you might want to sit on the edge of a blanket. That helps keep the spine nice and tall. So once you've gathered your props, we're going to start by settling in. So you want to have your sits bones even on the ground, your spine nice and tall, shoulders down and back, crown of the head reaching for the ceiling. And then you want to have a soft gaze or close your eyes. And then you want to take 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And now shift to breathing in and out through the nose. Imagine that you are encased in a block of ice. On the inhale, take a nice deep inhale, and on the exhale, let the ice melt from your head down to your shoulders. Another breath in. Let the ice melt from your shoulders down to your belly button. And with the next breath, let the ice melt all the way down your seat, into your seat, and into the ground. Take a quick scan down your body and check in with all the parts. See how they're feeling. We're not judging the feeling, we're just bringing awareness to where our body is right now. And keep breathing and let the tension keep flowing down, down, down. And allow yourself to come into the here and the now. And when you're ready, blink your eyes open, and we're going to move to our first pose, which is going to be a neck release. So stay sitting on the blanket. That's going to help your back. Bring one ear to the shoulder of the same side. Then take the hand on that side and gently place it on the side of your head. And gently find that first edge. If you're not feeling anything, you may bring the arm out until you feel a nice stretch in your neck. Now you don't want to bring your chin to your chest. You want to make sure that the ear is in line with the shoulder, but if you want to play with the angle of the head, you're welcome to do that until you find that nice edge that you want. And then once you've found that edge, come back to your breath. Use your breath to soften sensations. And use your breath as meditation. Follow your breath in and out. It helps take suffering out of the position. This pose relieves tension in the neck, which is always good after working a long week at a desk. Let your breath flow in and out the way that it wants. And keep your mind steady on your breath. Our holds are going to be about 3 minutes today. And gently bring the arm that was out in. Slowly let go of your head. Bring your arm back down. And then just slowly move your head from side to side. Just to release that. Come back to center. And then we're going to do the other side. So bring the opposite shoulder, the opposite ear to the shoulder. Bring your hand to your head and gently find that stretch. If you want more of a stretch, bring your arm out, fingertips on the ground. And then once you've found your edge, come back to your breath. Let the breath find its own rhythm. Use the breath to soften sensations when they get to be too much. And remember that if you feel any pain, you've gone too far, so lessen the strength of your hold. And if at any time a pose becomes too much, feel free to come out. You want to take care of your body. You need to listen to your body. Follow your breath. And then bring your arm in. Slowly let go of your head. Come back to center. And gently move your head from side to side. And come back to center. Our next pose is going to be reverse prayer arms. So I'm going to flip around so you can see. Bring your arms back and then hold on to the opposite elbow. This might be enough if you're really stiff in the shoulders. If you've been working like this all week, this may feel like a really big chest opener. So you can stay like this. If you want more, bring your palms together and slide them up your back. And then bring your elbows back a little bit. Let your shoulders soften down. Let your heart come forward. And come back to your breath. Imagine that you can breathe right through your heart. In through your heart and out through your heart. Spine is nice and long. Crown of the head is reaching for the ceiling. And the breath softens everything. This is a great heart opener, a chest opener, a shoulder opener. It counteracts all the hunching and it helps improve posture. Palms are pressing one into the other. If you have rotator cuff injuries, this is probably not an exercise you should do, especially not with the palms together. You might be okay with holding the opposite elbow. Again, listen to your body, and if you feel any pain, come out of the pose. Feel the fullness of your breath. Breathe in and out through your heart. For our next pose, bring the hands back down, shake them out, and roll your shoulders forward a couple of times, back a couple of times. And for our next pose, we're going to come down on our bellies. You might want to have a block handy take your cushion or your blanket, put it to the side. Come down on your belly with your elbows and forearms flat on the floor. Your feet are reaching out. Take one arm and slip it under the other, and then bring the other one across so that the elbows are one in front of the other. You're welcome to stay here if that's enough of a sensation for you, or you can bring your head down. Because my shoulders are not very happy today, I'm going to use a block to support my head. And once you've found your edge, bring your arms out and see how much you can relax your shoulders, your back, your glutes. Allow gravity to pull you down and come back to your breath. This is a great shoulder opener. But again, if you have shoulder problems, don't go as far into the pose. On the inhale, feel your belly press against the mat. On the exhale, allow yourself to soften back down. Come out of the pose, gently lift up and bring your arms back to the side. Put your hands right under your shoulders and come into a child pose for just a few breaths. And when you're ready, come back down on your belly. And this time the opposite arm will go under and the opposite arm will stay on top. Bring it down. And then allow gravity to bring you down. If you want, you can bring your forehead just right on the ground. Your feet are out behind you. Relax as many muscles as you can just to feel it in a joint more deeply.
Feel your breath stretch your back on the inhale. Allow yourself to soften down on the exhale. If you feel any tingling in your shoulders, back out of the pose. You've gone too far. Come out of the pose gently on. Wind your arms. Bring your hands next to your shoulders and come back up into a child's pose for just a few breaths. We're going to come back to our bellies for the next pose. We're going to do a chest opener. So one arm will be in cactus on the floor right next to your shoulder. So the elbow is going to be in line with your shoulder. The other arm is going to come right next to your chest. Your head, the side of your head, your ear is going to be on the floor, on the mat, and then press up with the hand till your hips come up and bend your knees a little bit. If it's more comfortable with a block under your head, you're welcome to do that. The hand that's in the back remains in cactus. The hand that's in front, you're pressing into it until you find your edge. And again, go gently to that edge so that you don't injure yourself. And then come back to your breath. Feel the ribs span open on the inhale. And let yourself soften back down on the exhale. This is another pose to counteract the rounding that we do when we sit at a desk for too long. Breathing into the sensation. Let your breath soften everything. Come out of the pose. Allow yourself to roll back forward. Hands under the shoulder. Come back into a child's pose for a breath or two. And then come back to your belly. I'm going to switch sides so that I'm not talking at the fireplace. Stretch your legs out behind you. Bring one hand, the opposite hand that you had in cactus. Bring the other hand next to your shoulder and your ear to the mat. And then press into your hand. Roll onto your shoulder and your hip. And gently bend your knees. Find your edge. And then hold. Relax. And breathe. Feel the breath fill your whole side. And let the exhale soften you back down. And to come out of the pose, roll back onto your belly. Bring your hands under your shoulders and come into child's pose for a few breaths. Our next pose is going to be a baby dragon, so you might want to have your blocks handy. Come into a tabletop. Knees and hips are in line, and shoulders and wrists are in line. And then bring one foot forward towards the corner of your mat. You can use your blocks if that's easier. Your spine is parallel and you're looking towards the ground, and then you're going to let your hip come forward. This is a nice hip opener. If you're getting enough sensation here, you're welcome to stay here. If you would like to, bring your heart forward.
Once you found your edge, come back to your breath. With each exhale, let gravity bring you down a little more, soften you into the pose. Here's another place where you can breathe in through your heart and then exhale out your back. Use your breath to soften the sensations, to get yourself out of suffering. Come out of the pose, come back up, back into tabletop. You keep your hands on your blocks or off the blocks. Curl your toes under, bring your hips up and back for a downward dog. Bend your knees as much as you need to have that nice straight spine. And we'll take a couple of nice deep breaths. Bring your knees back down to tabletop. Bring the opposite foot forward. Use your blocks or not. And then let your hip come forward. Let gravity bring you forward. If you need a cushion under your knees, you're welcome to do that. If you have enough of an edge here, you're welcome to stay here. If you want to have a little more sensation, you can bring your heart forward. And breathe in and out through your heart. And let gravity bring you down on the exhale. And let the exhale soften the sensation. the pose. Ease back into tabletop. Curl your toes under, bring your hips up and back for a down dog. And take a couple of nice deep breaths. Come back down into tabletop for a moment. And we're going to come onto our back. This leg. All right. Gently down. Feet are flat on the floor, knees are bent. Bring the one knee to your chest. If you have knee problems, you can hold under your knee. This is a nice, gentle hip opener. If you're having enough sensation here, you're welcome to stay here. If you would like more, you can slide your heel down, keeping your foot flexed, your leg against the floor. Your shoulder blades are against the mat. Find that just right edge, not too much, not too little. And then come back to your breath. See how much you can relax the muscular tension and allow the sensation to be right in the joint. Come out of the pose, bring the feet back to the floor. Hands come out to the side, and then do a couple of windshield wipers. Bring the legs back to neutral. Bring the opposite knee to your chest. Again, you can hold it under the knee, over the knee, or with a strap if you want to. And if you have enough sensation here, stay here. If you would like more, slide your heel down mat to the floor. Keep your foot flexed. Your leg flat on the floor. Your shoulder blades are on the mat. Your gaze is up at the ceiling. Find that delicious, just right edge. And then see just how much you can let go of muscular effort. Breathe in and out through the nose. And let your body soften with each exhale.
And come out of the pose, let go of your legs, come back to neutral. Your hands come out to the side. Do a few windshield wipers. And then come back to neutral. Our next pose is shoelace. It's one of my favorite ones. It can be a little tough though. So bring one knee over the other and then lift your knees up. If that's enough sensation, that's great. If not, reach for your ankles and pull them towards your shoulders. Your shoulder blades are on the floor. Your back is flat on the floor. Keep your feet flexed to protect the knees. Find that delicious edge and then hold there. Come back to your breath. This is a great pose if you tend to have sciatica. It stretches the outside of the hip and it lengthens the lower back. On the inhale, feel your thighs massage your belly. On the exhale, soften into the ground. And come out of the pose, gently let go of your ankles, unwind your legs, bring your feet back on the mat, hands go to the side, and do a few windshield wipers. And bring the opposite knee over, come up. If this is enough, that's great, or else reach for your ankles, feet flexed, and bring your knees towards your shoulder. It's normal for one side to be stiffer than the other, so don't worry about that. Just find the edge on this side, and then breathe into it. See how much of the muscular effort you can let go.
As your mind wanders, keep coming back to your breath. Come out of the pose, gently let go of your ankles. Unwind your legs, bring your feet back on the mat. Hands come up to the side and windshield wiper. Our next pose is going to be a supported bridge. You can use a block if you don't have a block, a couple of cushions or a book. Your feet are flat on the floor, your knees are hip width apart. Lift up, press into your feet and lift up your hips and then slide the block underneath. You can slide it this way, or if you're super flexible, this way. And place it right on the sacrum, right on the hips. And bring your hands to the side. You don't want your chin tucked up too far or else you won't be able to breathe. So you want the back of your head on the mat. And then let gravity pull you back down. Your shoulder blades are on the ground. Your knees are aiming at the wall. Back to your breath. Feel how it fills your whole front body on the inhale. And allow it to soften you on the exhale. This pose is good to stretch the lower back. And to come out of the pose, lift up your hips, slide the block out, and then roll your spine back down one vertebra at a time until you're flat on the floor, and then just feel the length of your spine, a new softness that's there. Our next pose is going to be a twist.
So lift up your hips, slide them to one side of your mat, and then bring your knees down to one side. Stack them up one on top of the other. If your back shoulder is lifting off the floor, you can put a cushion there. Rearrange your shoulders until both shoulder blades are flat on the floor. And then find your breath. And if you would like a little bit more of a stretch, you can take the top knee under the bottom knee for a twisted root. And then you can have your head facing your knees or away from your knees. See what feels good for you today. Find that edge. Breathe. And relax all the muscles. If your knees are twisted, unwind them and stack them up again. And then come back to center. Lift your hips, come back to neutral. Do a couple of windshield wipers. Come back to neutral. Lift your hips the other way. And then bring the knees down. Again, you can have a pillow under your shoulder if you need it to keep it from floating up. Shoulder blades are on the mat. Knees are on the mat. If you want more of a stretch, you can bring the top knee under the bottom knee for a twisted root. And then find that happy place for your head. Come back to your breath. And let go of effort. If your legs are twisted, bring your feet back to neutral. And then we're going to come into our final relaxation. Bring your feet down, arms out to your side. To protect your back, if that feels easier, you can bring your knees towards one another. The palms can be up, down, or on your belly. If you want to reach for a blanket for warmth, you're welcome to do that. If you need socks or a sweatshirt, now's the time to do that. And when you've found your perfect place. Let your body settle into the mat. Take a nice deep inhale in and let your body sink into the floor. Feel your legs or your feet on the ground, your seat against the floor, your back spreading with each breath, the back of your head softening against the mat. Back to your breath. Feel your rib cage expand sideways on the inhale, and let the exhale soften you down. Breathe in and out. Find your own rhythm. You're welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as you want. Start to bring small movements back to the fingers and toes. Roll the wrists and ankles. Give yourself a nice good morning stretch. Give your knees a nice hug. Maybe roll from side to side. And then roll to one side. Take a breath. And then come back into a seated position. Running short on time, so this meditation is going to be short. Bring your hands to your heart. And with so many things going kind of sideways these days, it's nice to remind ourselves that there are still things going right. So bring to mind someone or something that you're grateful for. Bring the image in your heart. And let the feeling of gratitude grow with each breath. Let it fill your heart space. Let it fill your whole body from head to toes. And bring your palms together. Your chin comes down to your chest. Thank yourself for practicing today, for taking care of your body. And thank you for showing up and practicing with me. I will see you again next Sunday. Bye.